Good morning, boys and girls. This is my second book with the theme about outer space, and this one's called The Sun is Kind of a Big Deal. And I just wanted to say thank you to Scholastic and their author, Nick Selleck, for allowing me to read this book without any copyright infringement and so forth. So I will have a trivia question this week regarding this book, so stay tuned. I hope you're going to really like it. All right. When I used to teach, I loved talking about and teaching about outer space and so forth. And it has a lot to do with social studies and so forth and science. All right. Like I said, the sun is kind of a big deal. All right. All of the planets and the sun live together in the solar system like a big family. The sun is our solar system's very own star. Seriously, the sun is an actual star. It's the only star in our solar system, and it sits right in the center, holding everything together. So what's in the solar system besides the sun and the planets? Well, we have dwarf planets, asteroids, meteors, and comets. Oh, hey, guess what? Our solar system is just one of the many solar systems that exist. I don't know if you knew that. A galaxy is a group made up of billions of solar systems. Our galaxy is called the Milky Way. There are billions of galaxies out there, and together they make up the universe. Can you count to a billion? The sun is the biggest thing in the solar system. It's even bigger than Earth. Way bigger. Way bigger. Like over 1 million times bigger. Oh, it burns. Ow, it burns. Sorry, this is why I keep my distance. All right, there are much bigger stars than the sun. But all of the other stars you see are really far away. Really far away. All right. The other stars are in totally different solar systems and have their own planets. Very cool. Earth is the third planet away from the sun. Remember Earth? It's that little planet where you and everyone you know lives. All the different planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, of course, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and more. All right. And it says Pluto. I'm still here, guys. Pluto used to be a planet, but scientists decided it didn't quite fit the definition. Now it's called a dwarf planet. Sorry, Pluto. All right. The planets move around the sun like a big racetrack in space. Each planet has its own special path that it follows. That's called its orbit. Some planets are faster and others are faster than others, but each one stays in its lane. Okay, it takes a whole year for Earth to go all the way around the sun. Do you know how many times you've been around the sun? Hint, how old are you? While Earth is going around the sun, the moon is spinning around the Earth. Very interesting. The moon goes around the Earth 12 or 13 times in 1 year. That's about once a month. Depending upon where the moon is in its cycle, we might only see part of it. The rest of the moon is in shadow. Or the rest of the moon is in shadow. I said that right. All right. When we see the whole thing, it's called a full moon. All right, the sun never stops working. It does a ton of important jobs for Earth. In fact, we wouldn't be around without the sun. The sun gives us light so we can see, but it takes about 8 minutes for light to get to us because the sun is so far away. Earth spins around in a full circle every day. That is why when it's nighttime for you, it's daytime on the other side of the world. Did you boys and girls know that? Oh, hey, guess what? As one side of the earth spins away from the sun, it looks like the sun is setting and it becomes night. As that side of the earth spins back toward the sun, it looks like the sun is rising. And you guessed it, breakfast time. Yum. The sun is always there, even when you can't see it. Sometimes it looks dark outside during the day because the sun is behind the clouds, but it's still there. Once in a while, it gets dark in the daytime because the moon gets in the sun's way. That's called a solar eclipse, and it only lasts for a little while. All right, keeping us warm is another really important part of the sun's job. The sun is hotter than you can imagine, way hotter than fire. Its temperature reaches millions of degrees at the center. Some places on Earth are warmer than others. The parts of Earth closest to the equator are the warmest. The parts of the Earth closest to the North and South poles are the coldest. And hey, guess what? See that red line around the middle of the Earth? That's our equator. All right, it's an imaginary line people invented called the equator. It separates the top and the bottom halves of the Earth, known as the northern and southern hemisphere. All right, so now we know it's colder near the poles of the Earth and warmer near the equator. Well, why? Well, the parts of the Earth near the equator are getting the sun's heat from straight on. The North and South poles are getting the same amount of sunlight, but it gets spread out over a bigger area. Since these places have to share the sun's heat, they don't get quite as warm. Got the North Pole, the South Pole, and the equator in the middle. All right, while Earth is moving around the sun, it is spinning on a tilt. That's why we have seasons. There are 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. Because of the Earth's tilt, the top half and the bottom half of the world experience the seasons at different times. When the bottom half of the Earth is tilted toward the sun, it is summer there. This also means that the top half of the Earth is tilted away from the sun, which makes it winter there, and vice versa. All right. The sun's work isn't done yet. Every day, the sun also has an important job in the water cycle. It's a little thing called condensation and precipitation. What happens during the water cycle, you ask? All right, heat from the sun causes water to mix with air, turning into vapor. That's called evaporation. Then the vapor gathers together to make clouds. That's called condensation. Finally, the water comes back down as rain or snow. That's called precipitation. In other words, sometimes we see it in the form of rain or snow. The water cycle is important for all living things, but especially for plants. Plants need water and sunlight for photosynthesis. That's a big word, but it's also a really, really big job. Photosynthesis is when a plant uses light from the sun, water from the water cycle, and carbon dioxide from the air to make food for energy to help it grow. During photosynthesis, plants make oxygen, and we need that. That's what animals and people need to breathe. See, I was right. Take a deep breath. You just breathed in a lot of oxygen. All right, there you go. Oxygen doesn't have any taste, but it's always there. We can't live without it. If the sun wasn't helping out with photosynthesis, we wouldn't have oxygen. The sun is pretty great. It's always around, keeping the whole solar system together. It gives us light and keeps us warm. It helps us bring us rain and grow plants to produce the oxygen we breathe. It's such a big part of our lives that we wouldn't be able to live without it. The sun works really hard to help us out. That's kind of a big deal. All right, here's some words, boys and girls, that I'd like you to try to remember. Do you remember what condensation means? Or a solar eclipse? Or that big word, photosynthesis? All right, stay tuned. We may have some trivia questions on those words. I hope you love the book. All right, boys and girls, take care. Bye-bye now.